Welcome to another episode of Season of Tears, the podcast that uncovers stories, one of the darkest chapters of Sri Lankan history. Join us on this creeping journey through time. We'll be shining a light on forgotten tales of resilience and hope from those who lived through the riots of July 1983. Let's listen to the next story in the Season of Tears.
Hello, my name is Suren. I grew up in Bambalapitiya flats. My memories of 1983 riots is so raw and vivid. It had a long-lasting impact on me. Although this is not the first time my family had been subject to racial abuse, those slurs or derogatory remarks, but this was my first exposure to a pogrom in reality. I was 12 years old then. Amidst the Ardival festival, we heard about this ambush in Jaffna. LTT killed 12 soldiers or 13 soldiers. There was big commotion everywhere. Even though there were communal riots prior to this, I believe there was one in 1977. I was little then. I remember there was a refugee camp at the Bambalapitiya temple. My father was one of the volunteers there. He was taking food parcels to them and distributing there, helping them in cooking and stuff like that. So we have heard about these atrocities. When this news came, on that morning, we were getting ready to go to school. I think it was we had our midterm exams. Our neighbors came and knocked on our door and told us there was some kind of a mob attack at Anderson Flats. So these Anderson Flats had a police quarters in one of those, in that compound. After the funeral of these soldiers, all the policemen and soldiers got drunk and started attacking Tamil houses. So everyone started panicking, and started worrying what is going to happen next. Although our parents were concerned, they still wanted us to go to school because of the midterm exams. So we got ready and went to school. Soon we were turned back. The school administration didn't want us in the school. Being a Tamil school, they thought, it could be attacked too. They didn't want to put all young kids in one spot. So we came back home, told this to our mother. So she was concerned there could be a curfew next day or soon after. So she wanted to be prepared, and in the case of stores were closed and stuff like that. So she told us to go and buy some provisions at the stores. There were some stores at the flats. So me and my younger brother went to this store. We were inside this store called, it was run by Sri Lankan Dairy Board. It was called Milk Board. So we were buying some stuff, and we heard these trucks entering our flat's premises. We looked outside. There were a lot of mobs, shouting and chanting, kill Tamils and Parademolo, all kinds of slurs. So they got off the truck, started smashing windows. So the first store they attacked was a government store called Marketing Department. So we were so worried and got scared. So the board manager knew us from our younger age. So he locked up the front door and told us to leave from the back door. And we started running towards our house. So in the flats, we had this in the middle. We had this playing field. So there's always boys hang around and having small powwows and stuff like that. So they saw us running and heard this commotion, and they asked us what's going on. So we told them, there's these mobs attacking stores. So they ran up to them, and we ran down to our house. So we heard these boys, young adults, they were able to stop these people, attacking stores, and but in between, there was this store owned by a Tamil owner, was called Gembridge or something like that. It was ransacked. So these boys were able to, stop the mob from entering the flats. They were sent back. So, while they were going, they told the boys, "We will go now, but we'll come back at that night." So we were all worried, we couldn't sleep all night. We were awake, and that night, so we were one of my uncle who was living with us came running and told he is hearing these noises from the back of the flats. The flats started at the Gold Road and it ended at the beach, well at the beach there. So we started panicking. I remember one of my younger brothers, started wheezing heavily, and he was so scared, and my dad was calming everyone, and then these boys were able to, the volunteer, the boys, they had already formed volunteer groups to guard the flats. They were able to go and stop these people from mobs from entering the flats. Thankful to these boys, we escaped that night. There were boys from different ethnicities, Sinhalese boys, Malay boys, Burger boys. We had that. They were protecting us. We had this community feeling in that flats. We were thankful to them. We were saved that night. Yeah, so this is, these things happen later on. Um, this memory, you know, stayed with me for a long time. Although I had gone through so many, um, racial abuses after, by the government, soldiers, and, every checkpoint we went through till I left that country. Um, it had a long-lasting impact on me.